Hello everyone. I'm so glad you are here and that you've clicked on this video today. I am about to do part one of the middle grade March wrap up. I am so excited. It is the 28th of March today when I'm filming. So I have a couple more days to read. I am at 22 books, I think. My goal was 31 in 31 days. I don't think I'm going to make that, but because I've already read so many books, I thought I would do a part one and a part two. So for this video, we're going to talk about the first, I think, 14 books or so. And then in another video, we'll talk about the rest of them. So the first one that I want to talk about is one that I actually stopped reading. I DNF'd it, which makes me so sad because I've heard nothing but good things, but it just wasn't hitting right when I was reading it. And that is The Remarkable Journey of Coyote Sunrise. I don't know what's wrong with me, but it wasn't hitting in the right spot, I guess. I don't know. All I know is that I just didn't care for it. So I stopped reading. I might be able to pick it up again later. Who knows what will happen. So we'll figure that out later, but I did stop reading that one. On to some that I actually finished. The first one that I finished this month is called Sonnets and Serpents by Elizabeth Lowham. And I have my notes right here. That's why I'm looking down, just to make sure that I'm not forgetting anything, especially author names. Anyway, so Sonnets and Serpents is the second in a duology as of right now. I don't know if others are coming. I don't think so because everything was sort of wrapped up at the end. But we follow characters that we met in the first one, and I would say that it's probably best to read these in order because things are sort of set up in Casters and Crowns, which is the first one in the series, and then you get to know these two characters as well. So these are it's a little bit tricky to explain, so I'm going to try my best. This is I think, teen fantasy. Now, I am not a teenager, and I am definitely not the target audience. So I think that was part of what sort of hindered my experience in the reading, because there was a lot of like teenage angst, and I was like, oh my goodness, they're making teenage decisions because they are teenagers, and this is for teenagers. And as someone who has not been a teenager for many, many years, I was like, oh my goodness gracious, I want to smack them all. Anyway, so we follow these two characters. I can't remember names right now. But the girl has left her country. She is the sister to the princess, and she's left her country to follow a boy that she likes. And against her father's will, and it was a huge big hubbub in the first book. So she's come to this new country. She doesn't know the language. She doesn't know the customs. And then we follow the boy who is from that home country, but has gone to school in this country. So he knows the language and everything, and he knows the customs. And the princess has asked this boy to go find her sister and just make sure that she's okay. Not necessarily bring her back, but just make sure that she's okay, because she's followed this boy and who knows what's going to happen. Anyway, because it is fantasy, there is a magic system, and there's sort of two parts to it. One is called being a caster, and you can like manipulate liquid or solids, or I think there's another one just with your mind-ish. And so you can like poison water and have someone drink it and they die, or just different things like that. You can build structures by moving the objects with your mind. That was a lot in the first one. In the second one, there are these things called affiliates, which are basically shapeshifters, and they take on the form of an animal. And so because the title is called Sonnets and Serpents, snakes are a very huge part of it. I do not like snakes, but reading it was okay. If it was a movie, that'd be a totally different thing. The Basilisk in Harry Potter, whoo, set me over. Anyway, we didn't watch this. We read it, so it was fine. Anyway, so this guy, the main male character, he's a snake affiliate. So he can talk to snakes when he's in human form, but then he can also turn into a snake himself. And apparently affiliates are like they're not considered human all the way or something, and so people don't like the affiliates, and they're outcasts in the original country, but in this new country that they're at in this book, affiliates are regarded and everything. And anyway, so there's a couple different things going on here. So this princess has to get over sort of her prejudice of these affiliates, and he has to get over the fact that she doesn't like affiliates, and blah, 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 blah. It was fine. It was average. It was a cute fantasy. Like I said, I am not the target audience. So, but I think this would be a perfect book for someone who is in their teens, their late teens, and someone who is new to fantasy, because it is very light fantasy. And so I think that this series would be perfect for someone who wants to sort of dip their toe into that fantasy realm. So there's an option there. Wasn't my favorite, but it was still really cute. Totally clean, kisses only, no swear words, stuff like that. Okay, the next one that I finished will be, I'll have more details for you in my 5-star prediction wrap-up video, but I did read The English Masterpiece by Catherine Ray. Just make sure you're subscribed, because that video will be coming out as soon as I finish some of the other books. I love Catherine Ray. I want to read everything she writes. I will just say that. The next book was Matilda by Roald Dahl. Oh my goodness, you guys, it was so cute. Oh, I've always loved the movie with Danny DeVito that was put out like in the 90s or something. And so I'm a nerd. I think I said this previously, but I like comparing and contrasting the movies to the books. And so listening to the book, it was so cute, and you just love Miss Honey, and the Trunchbull is just as bad as she is in the movie. It's adorable. The shenanigans. Roald Dahl, I love Roald Dahl books because he does put shenanigans in the books, but they're so outrageous, but they're so funny. I don't know. I love it. It was wonderful. Definitely one that I would recommend to kiddos for sure. Okay, the next one is also one that will have more details in my 5-star prediction wrap-up, and that is The Happy Life of Isadora Bentley by Courtney Walsh. It's wonderful. More details on that one. That was a fun read for sure. Oh, the next one was a really, really good one, you guys. It was called Amelia Lost: The Life and Disappearance of Amelia Earhart by Candace Fleming. So this is a nonfiction on Amelia Earhart and sort of her upbringing, her background, how everything sort of played out with her disappearance, what led to her being so popular. It was wonderful. A very, very quick read, very digestible. The audiobook was superb. But I loved it. I've always loved Amelia Earhart, and there were some things in there that I found very shocking, and it's just crazy to me, some of the things that happened that led to her disappearance, that happened while everyone was trying to search for her, things like that. Very, very, very good nonfiction for middle grade, for sure. Okay, the next one is called Iceberg by Jennifer A. Nielsen. I love Jennifer A. Nielsen books. They're always really, really well done. This is a historical fiction based on the Titanic. And now I've read quite a few different Titanic adjacent books. And so it's hard going into something where you already know, oh yeah, at the end, this giant ship goes down into the iceberg infested water, right? So you know exactly what's going to happen. And so it's interesting to read all of these different Titanic stories, basically, to see how individual authors put their spin on it. And I really liked the spin that Jennifer A. Nielsen put, because we follow this girl who is technically a stowaway on the Titanic. She's trying to get from England to America to help her family save some money after I think father died. I think that was this book. Anyway, that was at the beginning of the month, and now we're at the end, and my brain is like, hee hee. Anyway, and so this stowaway, she's very inquisitive, and she likes asking questions, and she likes seeing how this ship was built, and it was really cool how this character asked all these questions that prohibited people from being saved in the end. It was fascinating. And she has like a fact and fiction list at the end. And it was incredible to see how some of the things that she put in there were actually facts from survivors, from different like the workers on the ship that survived. It was a really fascinating, nice twist to a story that we all know very, very well, and we know the outcome of it. So, okay, next one. You guys, this book, I want to finish the next 7 like right now. They are wonderful. So this is Artemis Fowl by Owen Colfer. Holy Hannah Banana. This was wonderful. Right from the start, I am sucked in immediately. I think the audiobook was like maybe 6 hours. I listened on 2 speeds, so 3 hours. I pumped it up because I couldn't get enough of it. I was so invested. It was so wonderful. So we follow 2 different viewpoints, kind of. So we follow Artemis Fowl, who is a millionaire genius mastermind villain guy who is like 13, and all of his crew. And oh my goodness, it's so funny. He and his crew try to kidnap Holly Short, who is part of the Leprechaun unit, capital L, capital E, capital P, RECON. It's Leprechaun unit. And she is a fairy, but she's not like a Tinkerbell type fluffy fairy. No. She is part of their elite, the fairy elite, like police unit. And he is trying to get something from the fairy world, and the fairy world doesn't want to give it over to the humans. And so he and his crew kidnap Holly, and they know so much about the fairy world. And so then the fairy world has to come into the human world. It was so good. And apparently there's a movie, and I am very tempted to go watch it. Sometimes they're not as good, which makes me sad, but I think I still want to watch it. It was so wonderful. So wonderful. I will say that there are a couple mild swear words, which really annoys me in kids' books. But it was so good. So good. So good. Okay, the next 2 are from the same series. It's from the I Survived series. The first one is I Survived the Bombing of Pearl Harbor. And then the other one was I Survived the San Francisco Earthquake of 1906. So these are incredibly short, fast snippets of history that are perfect for kiddos who maybe are not fans of reading, who want to learn more about history. You could include it into a history unit. But they are so short. I think both of these were an hour audiobook, and when you listen on 2 speed, it's like 25-30 minutes. I finished one getting to work one day in the morning, and my job is like, I think 23 minutes away, something like that. So they're very, very short, which from a kid perspective, I like, but from someone who loves historical fiction and who wants to learn more about that history, they were so short that it was hard to get into the history part of it from an adult perspective, right? So are we seeing the difference? And especially the San Francisco earthquake one, I felt more like it was a friendship story more than the earthquake. The earthquake definitely took a back seat, in my opinion. Take that for what it is. They're still really, really good. I encourage kids to read them all the time. And they're just they're nice, easy ones that you know that you can finish in one sitting. So anyway, there's that. Okay, so The False Prince by Jennifer A. Nielsen is a reread for me. This is the next book. And once again, it was just wonderful. I want to finish all 5 of them. So I started here this month. And we follow Sage and a bunch of other orphans who get taken to Farthenwood. Is that the name of the place? Anyway, for this kingdom, this regent guy buys all of these orphans because he has this master plan of putting a fake prince on the throne of this kingdom. There's a lot of intrigue and there's lots of like behind the scenes side things that I missed the last time I read it. And because I knew the ending and where we were going, I was able to see those Easter eggs this time, which was really fun. The first time I had no idea what was coming at the end. So when that, bombshell dropped, I was like, what? That's crazy. This time you can see it coming if you know what's coming. And so she did a really good job of placing those little hints throughout the book, which I enjoyed. I enjoyed immensely. Okay, the next one. I finally finished The Mammoth. Wonderful, wonderful. So this is the first in the Kingdom and the Crown trilogy. This is Fishers of Men. This is biblical fiction, historical fiction during the time of Jesus in his earthly ministry. And we follow this fictional family who have zealot ties, and they are hearing of this new preacher named Jesus, and they're not quite sure on him. And Gerald Lund does such a good job of weaving in scriptural passages and scriptural stories, if you want to say, of that time from the Gospels in the New Testament with this fictional families. He follows a couple different families here, and how they all intertwine, and there's this plot to sort of overthrow different people in the background here, and so they have to kind of work together, and there's betrayal and different things, and they're all like, well, if we want to follow this Jesus character, is this in line with what he's teaching? That kind of thing. Oh my goodness. Again, this was a reread for me, so it was wonderful. I haven't read these in years. And so rereading it, I remembered bits and pieces, but I forgot how truly spectacular it was. So I'm grateful that I finally finished that one. I started it in January. That's okay. Okay, the next 2 are from the same author as well. So I officially love this author, and I will read anything that she writes because I think they're fabulous. So the first one was The Secret Language of Birds by Lynn Kelly. I love Lynn Kelly because she intertwines animal conservation with people, like with kids, and how even kids can make a difference in helping these endangered animals or just animals in general. And I love that. These books are so positive and so happy and just so easily digestible and so fun for kids and adults alike. In this one, we follow Nina, who I found out as I was reading it. We meet her in the first one, the Song for a Whale. So you don't have to read them in order by any means, but you do see her in the first one, in that Song for a Whale. It was nice to see kind of her story and why she was so weird in that first one. But she goes to, okay, sorry. So we follow Nina, who goes to this summer camp that her aunt runs. And she doesn't have a lot of friends. She's a little bit weird. And she loves birds. She loves learning about birds. She has bird apps on her phone. And so at this camp, she finds this new group of friends. And one night they stumble upon this crane. herring. I can't remember. A tall bird. I can't remember what kind of bird it was. Oh, for the love. Anyway, I think it was a crane. We'll say crane. And so Nina is fascinated and she does all of this research, and then she gets her friends involved, and then she gets more like senior animal people involved to save these cranes and to see why they're in the spot that they are, because that's normally not where they're supposed to be, things like that. So anyway, it was wonderful, totally adorable, very fast. It ends rather abruptly, in my opinion. I was ready for it to go on and on and on, but I think that was because I was loving it so much. So that was the first one that I finished from Lynn Kelly. And this is the second one, Three Blue Hearts. So in this one, this is the first book that I've read out of the three that we follow a boy main character. So that was fun. So this young boy and his mom go to sort of the seaside town because his mom is a scientist and she wants to study weather patterns. So for the summer, he and his mom are there, and there's definitely similar themes. There's, you know, loneliness at the first, they have no friends, but then throughout the books they make friends. Same with this one. He doesn't have a lot of friends, but one day on the beach, he runs into this ooey gooey mess, and like his dog is going crazy and he's poking at it, and he realizes that it's an octopus, and this octopus has been basically marooned on shore. She can't get back to the ocean, and so he jerry rigs this thing and takes it to the local veterinarian clinic, and it just goes on from there. I love octopuses. I love learning about them. I love, they are brilliant creatures. And the found family is adorable. The found friendship group is adorable. Learning about the octopus, I love that from Lynn Kelly. She does so much research on the animal that you learn about the animal. Like, we learned about whales, we learned about birds, we learned about octopus and other, and monkeys too in this one. There's a monkey theme to it as well. Anyway, I would recommend all three, but I read these two, so definitely pick up those. Okay, and then the last one I want to talk about in this video in particular, this part one, is I'm really trying hard to find shorter books that work for like first, second, third grade. So I know technically that isn't middle grade, but it is what it is. And so the next one I read was Flat Stanley by Jeff Brown. This, I'm pretty sure, was 45 minutes audiobook. Again, I listened on 2 speeds, so it was a very quick read, but it was so adorable. Flat Stanley, his name is Stanley, and he is flat. He gets squished by a bookcase or a cabinet or something, and so his parents have to deal with a flat son, and the brother has to deal with a flat brother. And in this one, they go to Mount Rushmore, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. And because of his flatness, he's able to save different situations and help different situations become less dicey. And it was really cute, perfect for younger readers. A great, quick, fast little read. So those are the first, I think 14 books, 15, something like that I have read this month. So stay tuned for part 2. I can't wait to talk to you guys in the comments. How has your month been going? Or your month? How did your month go? And I look forward to talking with you and seeing you guys very soon. Bye.